that was, yeah. But it was easy to imagine because we worked together so often and we talked quite often, so, it wasn't difficult for me to envisage what he would be like.
That day, just thinking back actually, when Sylvester was down, was great because I think I said this. I think I said this to some people, but I finished doing that, and then they sent Sylvester to get into his robes, and they said, right, that's it, thank you, Sophie, and we walked back out to the trailers, and there was Colin getting into his robes, and there was David Bradley getting into his, and Sylvester. I thought, I don't want to go now. How can I go home? So I said to somebody, would it be okay if I stayed? And they said, yeah, of course, yeah, you stay, as long as you like. So I crept back into the studio and I stood looking at the monitor for a while. And then Jamie or someone came over and said, Sophie, would you mind reading your lines for all the doctors? So I stayed for the rest of the day. I sat on that rock. I was the doctors. Jodie came along and she did her bits, and so it was just such. It was like the best Doctor Who convention ever.
What a lucky break.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was quite funny because I was there that day as well, and it was funny to see Paul because of course I was his agent, and one of the first things that I did for Paul was get him, an interview for Doctor Who. They phoned to ask if he'd go in for an interview for Doctor Who, so,
Yeah, that was great, because you came along, and then Sasha was there for a bit as well.
Yeah.
So we got these lovely photographs all together.
Yeah, it was just an incredible experience, because everybody on the set seemed to be a Doctor Who fan. A lot of the people working on the show were fans of the show.
All the young people, I was really amazed.
But the really stupid thing was, the night, so bear in mind, top secret, we were being taken onto location in dryers, those dry robe things with the big hoods, holding umbrellas over us.
You had your sunglasses on. She looked like this character from South Park.
Yeah, I did. And, a top secret, the doctors, when they came down, the night before they did this stuff, they had all gone out to dinner together in Cardiff.
What?
Oh, all the doctors are in Cardiff. What could that mean?
Nothing.
It's so unfair, because we've been slinking around.
Normally, if you're on location, you'd go out to dinner or you'd get together in the evening. We'd done none of that. We were wearing our masks, going to Marks and Spencer's, buying ready-cooked meals and putting them, all of that. Oh.
We did go for a walk in the park.
We did, Beauty Park. Yeah. In our masks.
I'll let you out for 5 seconds. You mentioned Sasha, so you had a new doctor to play with. You also had a new master to play with.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Oh, he's so lovely, and the way I love what he does with that, because it's so unhinged. It is totally, it's like he has no boundaries. He could do anything.
That's good, because you both worked with Ainsley as the master
Yeah.
as well, so it must have been nice to have that contrast.
Yes, well, that day that we did the scene with him, where we're on the stairs, we were just watching him with our mouths open, like, oh my God, because
He was so
did
wonderful.
something a bit different on every take.
Yeah.
He'd do the rehearsal and then, but not, some people do that, like if they're a method actor, they do some kind of, you go, well, now I'm going to have to do my performance completely differently, thank you very much. But he just altered it ever so slightly to give the director something else to play with, and it was like watching a, pun intended, masterclass in
And I have to say, when he does that rah rah Rasputin, Fabulous.
It's a great music
Fabulous,
video now.
fabulous, fabulous.
Even the dog in the summer room are like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a shame though, because I thought that it was, Jamie didn't do the editing in the end because he went straight on, his partner went and had a baby. I would have liked to see that in a longer shot, you know, a wider shot, so that you could actually see his legs properly, because he was doing all that Cossack dancing.
Dancing, yeah. Amazing.
It
You
did-
do see the Cossack dancing.
Yeah, but not often. I'd like to see it. Yeah.
How about
I'm fussy though.
the level of secrecy once you found out and then you were told, okay, how do you guys both deal with that? Because you know you love to tell people. Did you blab to anyone?
You have to lie. One of my friends guessed.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Because I said, look, I'm doing Blu-ray extras, because they were used to us doing Blu-ray extras. And where are you doing them? And like a fool, I said Cardiff. And she immediately guessed. God, she's smart. And so, because I was going down so often. And so after that, I lied. And I just said, I fudged it. I just went, we're down in the West Country somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Nice save.
I was quite lucky because the very first day's filming was in Bristol. So people were saying, you know, because I was whisked away. And
But you
my
were in
husband-
public. You were in the gallery.
Yeah, but I was wearing my surface
Oh.
coat and they put a golf umbrella over me and I was smuggled into the
Yeah.
But all the people in that scene, they were all non-speaking artists. It wasn't the general public. They closed
Yeah.
the museum for the day. So nobody knew at all. It was amazing, but I did have to kind of hide going in there.
Yeah.
They smuggled me through the back door. But then I managed not to lie, amazingly enough. My husband knew, my agent knew, and somebody who I really trusted, who I can't remember how she knew, but she might have guessed or something. And they were the only three people. So I didn't even tell my sons. One of them said, sort of end of September, when I'd gone to Cardiff quite a lot, or beginning of October, he said, Mum, you know you're going to Cardiff quite a lot. I wonder what they film in Cardiff. And I wouldn't have minded if he'd known. I was kind of really and I said, do you want to know? And he said, no, don't tell me. And then, and then the other one day, he rang me at some point and he said, Mum, why is your ace jacket missing from the cupboard? And I said, which is not a lie, I said, I've lent it to somebody. Which was true. Because it was there, it was in Ray Holman's wardrobe. So there we go. But and also another thing was fans were getting quite close as well at conventions, and saying things like, "Are you in the 60th?" And it was great because I could say, "No, I wish I was." So that was great because it wasn't the 60th.
No. So, I mean, was able to misdirect in tweets. Yeah.
A little bit of fun.
There's somebody nodding over there. Yeah, I did.
So,
Oh, I wish I was. That was my reply. I wish I was.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
And then, right before we'll have to turn over to the audience here, but I gotta ask, just you sit down, you watch it chopped together. Not talking about going to it's finished, it airs. You see it chopped together, and that's always a different experience. You know, when you shoot something, sometimes you think you're shooting something great, when it's shot together, something great. In this case, what was your gut reaction having seen it fully finished and produced for the first time? What was it?
I was just relieved we weren't on the cutting room floor.
It would have been a very short episode. If that was the case.
Yeah.
There was one scene I did which was not in the final.
Was it?
Do tell.
Yeah. I was chucking Nitro 999 as a Dalek.
Oh my God.
But I don't know, but they might have. I actually nearly brained one of the crew members with a can of Nitro 999. Oops. Because I chucked it like this and it went right over the camera, right into the crew.
Bang!
I got some really good advice from Peter Davison because, I've always hated watching myself. And Peter said, you have to watch it at least twice. Because the first time, all you see is you. And you are always hypercritical. But the second time you watch it, you watch the whole thing. And he was right. And so it was really sweet, actually, because I phoned Chris Chibnall and I said, I can't see it for the first time sitting in a preview with all the press and everything. That would be horrendous. And he arranged for us to get a copy, to be able to see it before we had to see it in the preview, and I watched it twice. And then, so when we were in the cinema, it was, you got over it.
The funny thing about that was it had our names watermarked.
Yeah.
So some shots were like, what? I could just see
Sophie Aldridge. Yeah.
Any tears, any chills, any gut reactions, emotional reactions, just seeing it all, you guys back in action and kicking ass.
I loved it when Tegan got laughs. Yeah,
yeah, that was great.
and
Angry,
yeah, whenever Tegan got cranky, she got a laugh, and I thought that was great. I love that because I've always thought she's quite funny.
Yeah.
There were a few gasps, weren't there, as well? Like, when Sylvester, when we did the scene
Yeah.
together and you did the scene with Peter, that was amazing.
Yeah,
And quite a few people were crying.
yeah, they were.
I mean,
It is quite sweet. Those scenes are very sweet.
I want to turn it over to the audience, but for me, I mean, goosebumps and chills. And you guys talking about, I think you mentioned it in your panel a little earlier, about doing the group support scene and having William Russell
Yeah.
on the I would love to have been a fine while we all broke to lunch together.
Well, that scene was amazing because we all turned up at the. We were in Rothlop being made up and costumes and stuff, and it was quite a warm day, and we were hanging around for ages. And Bonnie had come down the night before, and we caught up and had a good chat. And then Katie was there waving a carrot cake around us. We were all sitting around on the steps of our trailers and stuff, just chatting.
Yeah.
And I'd seen William Russell in the bar the night before with his daughter, and I mean, bless him, he couldn't really remember what he was there for. It was.
And he struggled with those lines, and she was really good with him. She really was.
Yeah.
So that was very
It was John
poignant.
Bishop who was brilliant with him.
Yes, he was.
Because John Bishop was sitting next to him, and he realised, well, they brought William a cup of
Yeah.
tea, and he spilt it on his trousers, and then he said, sorry for the mess, and he couldn't kind of quite get that out of his head, could he? But then John was great because he turned to him and he just very, very quietly said, say after me, and he got him to say the lines. It was really, really moving. But then it was great because when there was dry ice everywhere in the room as well. And then it was like one of those things that I kept thinking, am I dreaming this? Or is this real? It really was like a strange dream sequence that you have. It was bizarre. Look at everybody there. I mean, it's amazing. Really. And Jodie came along just because she wanted to meet everybody. She wasn't in the scene, but she couldn't keep away.
And the empty chair. There was the empty chair in the circle.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
there was the empty chair. That was, it did have a laptop over
Yeah.
it, and it was meant to have people, other companions on it.
I thought it was
However,
Sarah Jane.
I really like that interpretation.
What about Katie?
I think it should be for Sarah Jane, definitely.
I think that's what most of us thought.
Yeah.
That's what we read.
No, that was great. All right, does anyone have any questions? Right off the bat, let me start in the back right there. Hi.
What was your friends and family's reaction when the trailer finally came out?
Well, actually, I had 3 darling brothers who were nonetheless underwhelmed. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice, Jan. Okay, boys. But friends and family, friends and in the UK were really excited. Everybody was phoning, and Twitter went mad, absolutely insane.
Well, I was at my dad and stepmom's, and I pre-warned them because we were having an Easter Sunday meal, and I said to my stepmom, I need to watch this trailer for The Thing. You know The Thing I've been filming? It's coming on at about 10 to 8. And so we finished, we had our Easter Sunday, most of the meal, and then I said, oh gosh, we mustn't miss it. So we all trooped upstairs to where their TV is, and there's me, my dad, my stepmom, the 2 boys, and Vince. And we sat down and saw the end scene, that lovely scene with Mandic and Jodie at the end of the Sea Devils. And then on came the trailer for all of 30 seconds, wasn't it? It was like blink and you miss it. And it finished, and it was so kind of fast and furious like this, and then it finished, and there was complete silence. And my stepmom said, oh, she said, is that it? And then there was another silence, and she said, pudding anyone? and then Twitter went mad, and the boys were just, everybody was sort of shocked. I don't think they could believe it really. And then Twitter, we went back downstairs, we had pudding, I may have had some wine, which is unusual for me, and then just, as you say, Twitter just went completely mad. And my stepmom, during the course of the evening, they're not on social media, was going, so what's happening? What is it? And they gradually got more and more, they're in their 80s, they got more and more excited and realised how huge it was. And then the following morning, when on the BBC News website it said, war in Ukraine, what else was the big one? I can't remember. It was, something big. And then Janet Fielding and Sophie Aldred back in the
And it was on, like all the major national daily papers. It was, on all of them, and it was, something about us breaking the internet or something. That was a joke. But because the internet had gone crazy,
And so they were impressed then.
Pick someone out for us.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Sasha Dolan doing the dance for a recipe. Could you see Anthony Ainley doing a dance?
No. No, I can't.
Very much not.
No.
I don't think he... Cricket, playing cricket,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Not dancing.
No.
All the way in the back corner. Go ahead. Hi.
So, what was it like filming in the new TARDIS, instead of the old one?
How exciting! Because A, the lighting is a lot darker, so it's much more mysterious. B, there's a lot more things going on. I mean, we used to stand in a sterile set, and if you were lucky, the rotor in the centre would go up and down. Or not. and then somebody would rush in to try and fix it. So it was just really exciting, wasn't it? Because it's much more sophisticated and expensive.
Well, what was lovely was, do you remember when we were first there and they said, do you want to go and see the TARDIS? And so we went into the, and it's got a whole studio to itself. We never had that. We had a few bits of
It was a corner.
at the back and and a console shoved in. Oh, left a bit, right here, all right here, put it down now. But there's this whole studio dedicated, and you actually go through the TARDIS door to get in there. So it was lovely because they said, would you like to go in? And they let us, that everybody kind of hung back, and they let us to walk on alone first, didn't they? And we both looked around like this, it's like, oh wow, it was quite an emotional
I felt TARDIS envy. I did feel TARDIS envy.
And that console was something else, because you could
There were
actually...
things on it that worked.
Yes! You could press buttons and they'd light up.
Yeah.
And if you pulled something, it didn't come on.
What in your hand?
Can you stand there for like 20 minutes and play with those?
Yeah.
Not too shabby. Hi in the back over there, and I'll start picking people in the front. Hi, you, hi.
Is there going to be, or would you like there to be the Ace and Tegan Adventures on our television?
Oh, yeah.
We'd be quite pleased with that.
It's
Feel
all in the
free to ask the BBC.
Friends of the mouse.
This is what Twitter is for, y'all.
Yeah. JF Mouth on Legs is my Twitter handle.
Yeah, please tell Russell T. Davies.
Yeah, Russell T needs to know.
I pre-ordered that box set in a heartbeat. Hi, go ahead, hi.
Besides what it was like to work with Julie, I loved, they managed to work in just a little bit between you two and Mandip as well.
Yeah.
That was fun. Just,
She was lovely, Mandy, wasn't she? She really
So
is.
great. And wasn't she great in that episode?
Yeah, she's really good. Really good. And it was lovely to work with Gemma. Yeah, who we'd never worked. I'd done a couple of big finishes with her, but I'd never really knew her.
We really got to know each other, didn't we?
Yeah,
Three of us.
because we used to sit between scenes and gossiping and
We did. We need to go for that walk.
yeah. You're supposed to come down to Ramsgate.
We
You
are.
two.
We're meant to come and have an ice cream, and then you're coming to my house.
Yeah.
We must do that.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question. Go ahead.
You guys have been doing conventions for decades now. Are you happy to have new Doctor Who stories to be able to tell us?
No, we're miserable about it.
What a relief not to have people sitting there going, oh yeah, I've heard this about 10 times.
Yeah, go. Go ahead.
Stuart.
Stuart.
I thought you were pointing to him.
No.
Now, at what point, when you guys signed on, were you made aware that there would be other doctors in it at that point? Or would that come later?
I can't remember.
We got the script, and they were in the script. Do you remember in the script the way we were introduced? It was fantastic because Chris really bigged us up.
Yeah.
It said, for Ace, it said something like, we see this person in a suit, the back view. Could it be the iconic, heroic figure that we all love? I thought, yeah, this is. And then similarly for you. Yeah. And then the doctors were in the script.
Obviously less important than us.
What were your reactions
Obviously.
when you